Because I've got a massive appetite, I was hired to cure a rich heiress's anorexia. When we first met, she had just gotten into a huge fight with her boyfriend. She was so mad she hadn't eaten all day. She just glared at me, totally annoyed. Right then, a bunch of floating comments flashed by. Here it comes. Here it comes. This pretty boy extra is definitely gonna try to seduce the female lead. Can't he just know his place? Even if they're fighting, our girl still loves the male lead, okay? I just stood there chewing, completely stunned by these comments popping out of nowhere. Then, I quietly offered her the food in my hand, mumbling, "Do you want a tomato?" Earlier, while being led by a maid, I had walked up to the Shaw family heiress's bedroom door, only to hear the loud crashing of things being smashed inside. I heard the young miss was fighting with her little boyfriend again. Sha Yan always had a terrible temper. She was completely out of control. Her boyfriend was the only one who could handle her even a bit. This fight caused her anorexia to flare up again. She locked herself in her room, and hadn't eaten a single thing all day. The doctor suggested finding someone with a huge appetite to eat right in front of her, hoping it would trigger her appetite. That's how her dad ended up finding me. After all, I was the biggest eater in my entire village. I'd chow down 8 meals a day and love every single bite. He said he'd pay me just to put on an eating show, and he'd even cover my grandpa's medical bills. So, of course, I rushed over excitedly. Right now, I was still tightly clutching a tomato that a maid had shoved into my hands. The maid massaged her temples, clearly stressed by the racket inside. She gave me a hard shove towards the door. "You go in by yourself. I have things to do, I'm out." Once she scurried away, I couldn't wait any longer. I peeled the tomato and took a massive bite. The sweet, juicy flavor burst in my mouth. Wow, rich people really have it good. Even their fruit is this delicious. Still munching away, I pushed the door open. The room was an absolute disaster zone. Sha Yan was gorgeous, but she looked totally pissed off. Hearing the door, she snapped her head toward me, glaring with pure irritation. For a second, we just stared at each other. And right at that moment, floating text suddenly popped up in the air. Here it comes. Here it comes. This pretty boy is definitely gonna try to seduce the female lead. If this extra dares to try anything funny, he's gonna get tossed onto the streets by our girl to eat hot garbage. Reading that, I was so terrified I completely stopped chewing. I just stared blankly at the words. Seeing me standing there speechless, Sha Yan got even more impatient. She scoffed, her eyes sweeping over my juice-covered lips, before locking onto the tomato in my hand. Maybe she stared at it a little too long, because I stupidly thought she wanted a bite. So, trembling, I painfully offered up my precious tomato to her. "Do you want a tomato?" Sha Yan rubbed her temples and said coldly, "Get out." I quietly pulled the tomato back. That night, Sha Yan still didn't come out for dinner. I figured I was probably getting fired by morning. After all, she clearly wasn't on board with me curing her anorexia. In the middle of the night, lying in the guest room the maids set up, I worried myself sick. I was so stressed my stomach started growling like crazy. Since I didn't get to do my eating show, and only had that one tomato for dinner, I was absolutely starving. I couldn't take it anymore. I sneaked out of bed, slipped into the kitchen, and peeked at all the food in the fridge. I immediately decided to whip up a simple bowl of tomato and egg noodles for myself. Halfway through, I thought about it, and tossed in an extra sausage. For a balanced diet, I even threw in a handful of baby greens. Finally, a huge pot of fresh, savory noodles was ready. The tomato broth was rich, sweet, and sour. The scrambled eggs were smooth and tender, and the noodles were perfectly chewy and springy. Garnished with bright green veggies, I crouched by the kitchen door and started devouring it in huge bites. Just as I was completely lost in the food, a sudden noise came from outside. Startled, I looked up, locking eyes with Sha Yan's unreadable gaze. I had no idea how long she had been watching me. 3 minutes later, a dim light was turned on in the dining room. I sat at the table, eating my noodles. Sha Yan watched quietly from the side. At first, being stared at so intensely felt a bit awkward. But the moment the noodles hit my mouth, I couldn't care less. After finishing, I wanted to scoop another bowl. Is it really that good? My cheeks were stuffed, so I couldn't say a word. Sha Yan let out a soft chuckle. Why do you look so silly? She naturally ordered me to serve her a bowl too. My eyes curved into a surprised smile. Chewing on my food, I nodded eagerly. Thank goodness I made enough for 3 bowls. I originally could have eaten all 3 bowls myself, but to keep my job, sharing a bowl with Sha Yan was totally worth it. So, I brought out 2 more bowls of noodles. The noodles were a bit softer now, but they soaked up even more flavor. Quick, try it, my cooking is amazing. Sha Yan truly was a rich young lady. Even her way of eating was incredibly elegant. As soon as she took a bite, I eagerly asked, "How is it?" Sha Yan didn't reply. She just said, "Keep eating." I couldn't wait and grabbed my chopsticks. I practically inhaled it, drinking every last drop of the broth. By the time I put my bowl down, I noticed Sha Yan had actually eaten more than half of hers too. The comment section instantly went wild. "Wait, female lead, what about your anorexia? Don't you feel like throwing up when you see food? And now you just inhaled half a bowl in one go? Okay, but honestly, I really want some tomato and egg noodles now too. Making me so hungry in the middle of the night. The male supporting character makes it look so delicious, I'm drooling. Literally watering at the mouth." After that, I successfully stayed on at the Sha household. Because of her long-term anorexia, Sha Yan had developed a severe stomach condition. Mr. Sha told me that as long as I could get her to finish a meal, he would pay me $1,000, and if she took a few extra bites of fruit or cake, he'd add another 1,000. So, in the days that followed, I was always tailing Sha Yan, racking my brain for ways to coax her into eating a few more bites. Slowly but surely, Sha Yan finally started eating a little more. Mr. Sha was absolutely thrilled, and even transferred me to Sha Yan's school so I could make sure she ate there, too. Today, just like usual, I placed a sweet, durian-filled mini cake on her desk. Then rushed back to my own classroom for a lecture. After observing her these past few days, I noticed that when it came to fruits, Sha Yan was actually willing to eat a bit more durian. As soon as the bell rang, I excitedly went to look for her, wanting to see if the cake had been eaten. But when I rushed to her classroom, it was total chaos inside. Sha Yan's boyfriend, Zhang Che, was clutching his chest, gasping for air. His arms completely covered in severe red hives. Sha Yan asked anxiously, "What's going on?" Zhang Che looked up at me. Su Muchin said I could eat it too, so I did. Who knew he would hide durian inside, which I'm highly allergic to? The live comments instantly exploded. "I told you there's no way the supporting guy could resist causing trouble. See, he finally dropped the act. He intentionally fed our male lead durian. He wanted to trigger his allergy. Oh my god, the male lead looks like he's in so much pain. The female lead must be absolutely heartbroken." I picked up the bitten cake and hurriedly explained. "Clearly told you this was durian cake. You were the one who asked me if you could have some." I said it was fine as long as Sha Yan agreed, and I specifically reminded you that it was made of durian. But Zhang Che completely ignored me, and just whined pitifully to Sha Yan. But I just didn't hear him say that. Yan, it hurts so much." I frowned, wanting to say more. "How could you possibly not hear me? If you don't believe me, we can check the security cameras." Honestly, Zhang Che's framing was incredibly clumsy. As long as we checked the cameras or found witnesses who were there, it would easily clear my name. I looked at Sha Yan with a glimmer of hope, hoping she would believe me. But right then, Zhang Che was clutching his chest. His delicate face was covered in aggrieved tears, as he looked stubbornly at Sha Yan. Sha Yan instantly threw all logic out the window, hugging him tightly to her chest in distress. Before I could get another word out, she completely lost her patience. She aggressively smacked the cake box right out of my hands. The delicate little cake crashed to the ground, getting completely covered in dirt. Hugging Zhang Che protectively, Sha Yan sharply cut me off. "Enough. Ha has always been honest and straightforward. Do you really think he would lie to me? Stop making your pathetic excuses." With that, she shielded Zhang Che and rushed him to the hospital. I stood there staring blankly at their retreating backs. A sudden wave of grievance washed over me, not because I was wronged and misunderstood, but because I was thinking, God damn it, I just missed out on $1,000. I silently calculated in my head how many more meals I had to make for Sha Yan, just to scrape together enough money for my grandpa's surgery. Finally, I figured it out. At least 70 more meals. Fortunately, Zhang Che's allergic reaction was treated in time, so there were no major complications. Because of that, after giving me the cold shoulder for 3 days, Sha Yan finally started talking to me again. When she called me, it was 9 p.m. Her tone was lazy and bossy. "Hey little nerd, go get me those peach blossom pastries from the north side of town. Hurry up, I'm craving them. The pastry shop closes at 10 p.m. That meant I had to rush all the way across town in under an hour. But the second I realized there was money to be made, my eyes instantly lit up. Then give me just a second. I'll go buy them right now. The very next second, I heard a teasing laugh from her end of the line. Yan, where on earth did you find this little lapdog? He's way too obedient. His voice is so soft and timid. Anyone who didn't know better would think you're coaxing a little kid. I couldn't help but frown. Growing up in the southern countryside, even when speaking Mandarin, I couldn't completely hide my rural accent. Sha Yan seemed to be in a fantastic mood, chuckling as she urged, hurry up and go. So, by the time I bought the pastries and rushed over to the location Sha Yan sent me, it was already past 10 p.m. as I stepped out of the car. A chilling wind swept by. There were no shops around. No KTV either. Clinging to my peach blossom pastries, I felt completely lost. Standing on the empty street, only a few worn-out streetlights flickered faintly. I called Sha Yan 3 times, but her phone was off. I crouched under a streetlight and waited for a long time. I couldn't resist sneaking a bite of the peach blossom pastry. By the time I made the 5th call, she still didn't pick up. As I chewed on the sweet treat, a sad realization finally hit me. I had been played by Sha Yan. I don't know how much time passed. My legs went completely numb from crouching. Sha Yan finally called back. Her voice sounded totally unbothered as she said, Ah Che only had an allergic reaction because of you. The kid holds a grudge and has a huge temper. Su Muchin. Consider this just a little lesson for you. Remember it for next time. Then a voice yelled, I am not holding a grudge. Sha Yan let out a helpless chuckle. Alright, you're not holding a grudge. Sha Yan chuckled helplessly again. Anyway, I've sent you the new address. Hurry up and get here. I rubbed my face, figuring that since things had already come to this, as long as Sha Yan was still willing to eat, tonight wouldn't be a total waste. When I reached the door of the private room, bursts of laughter and cheers came from inside. I pushed the door open. It looked like Zhang Che had just kissed Sha Yan, egged on by the cheering crowd. The live comments were going crazy. This is so purely romantic. Our precious male lead gets so shy over just a kiss. Why do I feel like he did that on purpose for the second male lead to see? Secretly claiming his territory, the second male lead probably doesn't even know that the peach blossom pastries are actually meant for the male lead. LMAO. A simp always ends up with absolutely nothing. Zhang Che's ears were still red from the stolen kiss. Seeing me walk in, he headed straight towards me. He snatched the pastries with a look of absolute entitlement. Thanks for going out of your way to buy my snacks. He picked up a piece, popped it into his mouth, and then fed one to Sha Yan. Yan, you should try some too. Sha Yan's brows instinctively furrowed. She subtly dodged his hand, her tone completely flat. I'm not eating it, you have it, fine. Zhang Che suddenly lost all interest. Then I don't want it anymore either. With that, he carelessly tossed the remaining pastries aside. Running all the way across town late at night for pastries didn't make me cry. Squatting on the freezing street for half an hour didn't make me cry either. But right now, knowing that Sha Yan never even had the intention to eat anything, my whole world just shattered. The entire night's worth of grievances all piled up at once. I fought it back for a long time, but I still couldn't stop my eyes from turning red. Refusing to give up, I pinched a piece of pastry and asked, Sha Yan, are you really not going to try it? Someone chimed in, Yan, this little follower of yours is way too obedient. You just mentioned wanting peach blossom pastries once, and he obsessed over it all night. Come on, just take a bite for him. The poor guy looks like he's about to cry. Hearing this, Sha Yan's mood seemed to lift a little. The peach blossom pastry she found repulsive just a moment ago suddenly didn't seem so hard to swallow. She curled her lips into a smile, finally taking the pastry from my hand, and slowly took a bite. The second I stepped out of that private room, I finally broke down and cried. Sobbing my eyes out, I walked to a nearby night market and tearfully ordered a fully loaded street crepe. By the time I returned to the villa, I was wiping away my tears while violently munching on my crepe. Auntie Wang, the housekeeper, was startled and quickly pulled me inside. I had already gotten pretty close to everyone in the villa lately. Oh my goodness, she gasped. Why are you crying over a pancake? It's just so good, it made me cry. I sniffled, clutching my pancake. I couldn't help but complain. The peach blossom pastry went to waste. She wouldn't even take a bite. She was just messing with me on purpose. Auntie Wong understood what had happened. Sighing heavily, she led me into the living room. But today, there was a strange woman sitting in the living room. She was dressed in a high-end tailored suit. Hearing our conversation, her cold, deep eyes quietly shifted over to me. Auntie Wong hurried to introduce me. "Miss, this is the person Mr. Shaw hired to help treat the young Mrs. Anorexia." I had just been bad-mouthing Sha Yan, and her older sister had heard every word. Feeling instantly awkward, I mumbled a quiet, "Hello." The woman just gave me a blank look and gave a slight nod. Auntie Wong noticed the pancake in my hand and frowned disapprovingly. "Just a pancake isn't enough. What else do you want to eat? I'll make it for you." I blinked my teary eyes. "I want wontons too." Soon enough, a bowl of wontons was brought out. Thin-skinned, tender wontons with seaweed and shrimp sat steaming hot in a porcelain bowl. Paired with the pancake, it was absolutely perfect. My appetite was back in full force. I immediately dug right in. But after just a few bites, I felt that probing gaze from across the living room fixed right on me. A moment later, the woman walked over to me. She didn't say a word. She just stood there, watching me eat. My cheeks were stuffed, so I couldn't really speak either. I just shot her a look of pure confusion. Finally, she broke the silence. "How much is my father paying you?" I swallowed my food, and answered honestly, 1,000 a meal, if I can get Sha Yan to eat. She seemed to chuckle at that, then asked, "Would you mind taking on another job? Make sure I eat on time, and eat with me." How does 10,000 a meal sound? My eyes went wide in pure shock. I nearly choked. She reached out and gently patted my cheek with her fingertips. Seeing that I was totally speechless, she thought for a second. "If you think that's too low, we can do 20,000. She paused, then added, "Sorry, it's just, you make the food look so good when you eat." She sounded as calm as if she were negotiating a business contract. "I don't have anorexia. I'll eat the food you bring on time, and I won't make you cry. Deal?" I blankly stopped chewing and stared at her with wide eyes. "Really?" She nodded. "I wouldn't lie to you." Later on, I found out from the maids that between the two Sha daughters, one had severe anorexia, and the other was an absolute workaholic. Sha Yan's older sister, Sha Qingwan, was only 3 years older than Sha Yan, but she had successfully started a business in college. Right after graduation, she took over the family business. She'd often get so buried in her work that she'd completely forget to eat. It wasn't until late at night, when a sharp burning pain hit her stomach, that she'd finally realized she had skipped her meals. In the end, we shook on it. 10,000 a meal. Now that I have a big client like Sha Qingwan, I can save up enough money for Grandpa's surgery much faster. And I can even get him better medical care. For the next 3 days, Sha Yan didn't come looking for me, and I didn't bother going out of my way to find her either. Instead, I used the time to learn more about Sha Qingwan's food preferences. On the 4th day, I came back to the classroom after lunch. Most of the students had already left for their midday nap. To my surprise, Sha Yan, who hadn't spoken to me in days, was sitting at my desk. When she saw me, she raised an eyebrow. "Been busy lately? Why haven't you come to see me?" I walked over, not really in the mood to deal with her. Sha Yan reached out and gently touched my cheek. Looking somewhat amused, "Are you mad at me?" I just took out my textbook, still giving her the silent treatment. The pampered little miss had been spoiled her whole life, so she probably wasn't used to being ignored. With her pride wounded, she kept quiet for a moment. A minute later, a delicate box of pastries and a cream cake were pushed right onto my textbook. Next to it was another cream cake, my absolute favorite kind. I finally looked up at her and asked, "Is this your way of apologizing?" Hearing that, Sha Yan froze. The word sorry simply didn't exist in her dictionary. Even when she fought with Zhang Che was always the one to cave first. She had just wanted to see me, so she brought some snacks along. Sha Yan totally ignored my question. "I bought these for you." Then, slipping right back into her bossy habits, she ordered, "Let's have dinner tonight, dummy." I was genuinely surprised that Sha Yan would ask me out to dinner. It felt like $1,000 was waving right at me. Well, I let out a sigh, not wanting to overthink it anymore. After all, who in their right mind says no to money? The freshly baked cookies smelled absolutely amazing, topped with a generous sprinkle of crushed nuts. I opened the box, popped one into my mouth, and my eyes instantly lit up. "So good, let me have another piece." By the time I had devoured more than half, I finally noticed that Sha Yan was still sitting right next to me. I thought for a second, then held out a cookie to her. "You want one?" Sha Yan looked down, and seeing that buttery cookie pinched between my long fingers, she actually found it kind of tempting. A soft chuckle escaped her lips. Then, leaning in close, Sha Yan unexpectedly took a bite of the cookie right out of my hand. Her soft lips lightly brushed against my fingertips, leaving a lingering, warm sensation. I yanked my hand back instantly, scrambling to put some distance between us. I frowned in deep discomfort, but before I could say a word, the cream cake next to me was suddenly snatched up and smashed violently right into my face. Zhang Che's harsh voice suddenly rang out. "You like eating so much, huh? Here, have as much as you want." I reached up to wipe my cheek, my hand coming away covered in a messy glob of cake and jam. The live comments instantly exploded. "Whoa, the male lead is such a badass. What's with this side character seducing someone else's girlfriend every day? Look how furious he made our male lead. I mean, I don't feel like the side character really did anything wrong though. Haha, stop defending him, dude. Feeding another guy's girlfriend? If that's not seduction, what is?" I was only stunned for a split second. The moment I snapped back to reality, I grabbed my full glass of water and fiercely chucked it straight at Zhang Che's face. But someone else moved even faster, instantly jumping right in front of him. In the end, that entire glass of water completely drenched Sha Yan. The comment section went absolutely wild. The way the female lead protects her boyfriend is so badass. It was a totally subconscious reaction. "I'm shipping them so hard, I'm dying. The side guy looks like such a clown right now." It all happened in a flash. Sha Yan's face went completely blank for a split second. By the time she reacted, she saw my head completely covered in a miserable mess of cream and jam. Meanwhile, Zhang Che was completely unharmed, hiding behind her with teary, aggrieved red eyes. Zhang Che clung tightly to Sha Yan's arm, gave me a soft HMPH, and then sweetly thanked her. "Yan Yan, thank you so much. If it weren't for you, I definitely would have been a total mess just now." This time, Sha Yan didn't immediately respond to Zhang Che. She looked right at me, and after a few seconds, she frowned and said, "Ah Che is just being immature. Please don't take it to heart. Why feel sorry for a mere lackey?" I just looked at the two of them without saying a word. The atmosphere instantly froze. Sha Yan had probably never seen me look like this before. A rare flash of panic crossed her eyes, and she blurted out somewhat defensively, "Ah Che has always been like this. Is it really worth getting so mad at him? Alright, let me help you clean up. I'll compensate you 10 times over for the clothes." She reached out to me as she spoke, but I calmly dodged her hand. "No need." Sha Yan softened her tone, which was rare for her. "Then I'll have Auntie Wong cook your favorite dishes tonight, and we can eat together." I looked up, staring intently into her eyes, and said word by word, "No need, not tonight, not ever." All the way, I bore the brunt of everyone's weird stares as I walked out of the school gates. Standing right there at the entrance, I felt a bit lost, suddenly having no idea where to go. I just suddenly remembered that it had been a very, very long time since I last ate the wood-fired rice my grandpa used to make. While I was spacing out, an understated yet luxurious car slowly pulled up in front of me. Thinking I was blocking the way, I quietly shuffled to the side, but the back window suddenly rolled down. The woman inside peered at me through her sunglasses. I never expected it to be Sha Qingwan. She frowned slightly, but her expression softened again in an instant. "How did you end up looking like this?" I momentarily forgot my heartbreak, and asked in surprise, "Why are you here? Shouldn't you be at work right now?" Sha Qingwan said gently, "You didn't remind me to eat lunch today, so I figured you might have run into some trouble." As she spoke, the driver stepped out and opened the door for me. Inside the car, Sha Qingwan took out a handkerchief and meticulously wiped my hair clean. Then she gently wiped my cheek. The touch felt inexplicably a little ticklish. Finally, she took me to her private apartment and told me to go take a shower. When I came out of the shower, Sha Qingwan's assistant had just delivered food to the door. The assistant handed me the food, looking like he was entrusting me with a critical mission, and said solemnly, "Mr. Su, I'm leaving it to you to bring this to Boss Sha." I nodded, completely bewildered. The assistant immediately breathed a huge sigh of relief and patted my shoulder wearily. "Good luck, Mr. Su." After saying that, he bolted. I didn't think much of it and took the food to the study to call Sha Qingwan for dinner. Only when I pushed the door open did I realize she was in a video meeting. I suddenly remembered Auntie Wang's warning that Sha Qingwan absolutely hated being interrupted while working. Just as I was hesitating whether to back out first, Sha Qingwan, wearing her glasses, looked right over at me. Well, the damage was already done. I had to bite the bullet and say, Miss Sha, it's time for you to eat. As soon as the words left my mouth, her video conference instantly fell dead silent. But Sha Qingwan's expression didn't change at all. She just calmly looked at the screen and said, "Let's wrap up today's meeting here." And with that, she shut her laptop. The food was already laid out on the dining table. Since I had already eaten lunch, I just sat quietly to the side, watching Sha Qingwan eat. Her table manners were completely different from mine. She ate so gently and elegantly, and she wasn't a picky, anorexic eater like Sha Yan. It was honestly a joy to watch her. I couldn't help but think. Her assistant was making a massive deal out of nothing. Sha Qingwan is clearly very cooperative, and eats right on schedule. Maybe I had been staring at her for a bit too long. Because Sha Qingwan put down her chopsticks, looked over at me, and asked, "Are you still sad?" I didn't process it for a second. "Huh?" She softly comforted me. "About Zhang Che's durian allergy. I've already had someone pull the security footage. This whole mess wasn't your fault. I've already sent the video to Sha Yan's phone. Whether she believes it or not is her own business. But Su Muchin, you deserve to have your name cleared." I sat there in a daze. I never expected her to just silently handle this whole thing for me. After a long pause, I finally mumbled, "Thank you." Sha Qingwan thought for a moment, and out of nowhere, brought out a small piece of cake. She asked if I wanted it. I knew she was just trying to cheer me up. But the moment I saw that cake, my mind instantly flashed back to what happened at school. And my mood plummeted right back down. But my sadness didn't even last for 2 seconds. Before I suddenly had a glaring realization. Just because of Sha Yan and Zhang Che, I had somehow lost my absolute love for little cakes. They were supposed to be a symbol of pure joy. But now, they only reminded me of disgust, anger, and heartbreak. Realizing this, I fiercely furrowed my brows. Hell no, this is unacceptable. Little cakes are completely innocent. How could I possibly hate them? With that thought, I whipped out my phone and quickly drafted a message to Mr. Shaw. "I'm so sorry, sir, but I don't think I'm cut out for this position. I truly appreciate the opportunity you gave me, but I've ultimately decided to resign. I also genuinely hope your daughter's eating disorder improves soon." After hitting send, I felt totally refreshed, like a huge weight had been lifted. I felt like I could devour 5 little cakes in one sitting. Right at that moment, a stream of floating comments crossed my vision. "Well, look at him now. The supporting guy just pissed off both the male and female leads. He better get ready to be tossed onto the streets to eat trash. Wait a minute. Why is the supporting guy hanging out with the ultimate boss of the entire book? He's not trying to get the big boss to back him up, is he? I mean, sure, the boss has the power to do it. But there's no way she's that easy to talk to. Wait, Sha Qingwan was actually the ultimate boss? Originally, I was secretly terrified that Zhang Che would get Sha Yan to take revenge on me. But after seeing those comments, a crazy thought suddenly crossed my mind. If I managed to get on Sha Qingwan's good side, would she actually step in and help me? Oh, I get it. He realized he couldn't seduce the female lead, so now he's scheming to seduce the big boss. The supporting guy looks so innocent, but who knew his mind was so twisted? Does he not realize the boss is way more dangerous than the female lead? If he provokes the boss, he won't even have bones left to bury. Reading all of these terrifying comments, I felt a sudden surge of panic and doubt. Meanwhile, completely oblivious to all this, Sha Qingwan saw me zoning out and let out a helpless sigh. In the very next second, this so-called ultimate boss from the comments leaned in close. She gently pinched my cheek, making me look right at her. Her usually calm eyes actually flashed with a barely noticeable hint of hurt. "Su Muchin, stop thinking about Sha Yan. I'm paying you 10,000 a meal to take care of you. You should think about me more." Over the next few days, I delivered meals to Sha Qingwan right on time. Sometimes it was takeout bought by her assistant. Other times, I cooked it myself. Whenever I brought the food over, she would immediately drop her work to eat with me. It felt exactly like she was paying for a meal buddy. Over time, even the company receptionists got to know me. They looked at me with this weird sense of awe. I found it a bit baffling, but didn't ask too much about it. One day, I personally cooked a huge feast, and excitedly went to find Sha Qingwan. Just as I reached the company entrance, I saw Sha Yan arguing with her. As I got closer, I heard Sha Yan snap in frustration. "Sha Qingwan, what gives you the right to freeze my cards?" Sha Qingwan took a document from her assistant with one hand, and casually replied, "Father can't control you, so I have to step in." "Sha Yan, have I spoiled you so much lately that you're completely out of control?" Sha Yan had always hated being disciplined. Just as he was about to argue back, I stood there feeling super awkward and could only whisper, "Miss Sha, I'll wait for you over on the side." The moment I spoke, they both turned to look at me. Sha Yan's previously gloomy face instantly brightened up the second he saw me. He raised an eyebrow at Sha Qingwan and smirked. "My little dummy is here for me. I don't have time to waste on you." Saying that, he walked toward me, taking the food from my hands with a look of fake disgust. But his eyes suddenly lit up. "Hey, little dummy, you're finally willing to talk to me? You haven't come to eat with me for days. Not even replying to my messages. You've got some nerve. Auntie Wang's cooking is completely gross. I can't eat a thing without you." He opened the lunchbox, his eyes narrowing in pure delight. "Did you make this just for me?" I quietly took the lunchbox back from his hands. "Sorry, this isn't for you." He raised an eyebrow, looking amused. "What, is my last name not Shaw?" I was a bit confused why he would think that, but I still explained, "This is for your sister. And I won't be coming to eat with you anymore either." After saying that, I grabbed the lunchbox and turned to leave. Sha Yan suddenly grabbed my wrist, his brows knitting together. "What is that supposed to mean? Explain it to me, right now." The confusion in his eyes didn't look fake. I held back my feelings, but still asked, "Did you see that security footage?" "What footage? You didn't get it?" Sha Yan thought for a moment. "Che accidentally broke my phone a few days ago. All my chat logs are gone. Did you send me a message?" I gave him a complicated look. "It's nothing." Whether Sha Yan saw the footage or not, didn't matter to me anymore. Sha Yan's frown deepened, feeling like a piece of his heart had suddenly gone empty. An unexplainable panic set in, but I just shook off his hand and repeated, "Someone else will keep you company for meals from now on. You don't need to text me anymore. I think I've made myself perfectly clear. Someone new will come to treat your eating disorder very soon. We won't cross paths again." After settling this matter, I breathed a sigh of relief, and stopped paying attention to Sha Yan. I excitedly jogged over to Sha Qingwan. Spending time with her lately has made me a lot less afraid of her. Sha Qingwan doesn't talk much, but she responds to every single thing I say. It's like she can embrace absolutely everything about me. I chattered away excitedly. "Guess what I made today?" Sha Qingwan took the lunchbox, thought about it for a couple of seconds, and said gently, "You mentioned cola chicken wings. Wait, how did you know?" "You told me the day before yesterday that your homemade cola chicken wings are super delicious." I really didn't expect her to remember something I just casually mentioned. "Bingo, since you guessed it right, I'll let you have a few extra bites." Sha Qingwan smiled too, playing along perfectly. "Thank you for the reward, Lord Su Muchin. I absolutely love it." As I headed upstairs with Sha Qingwan, I happened to glance down, and saw that Sha Yan was still standing down there. She was staring in the direction we left, looking completely zoned out. Over the next few days, I just focused on my classes, and kept having meals with Sha Qingwan. One day, while I was buried in my test papers, I overheard some classmates gossiping. "Hey, I heard Zhang Che and Sha Yan had a massive fight and broke up." Yeah, Zhang Che ended up transferring to another school. I didn't really care, so I just kept working on my test paper. Right as I was calculating a math problem, the classmate next to me tapped my shoulder. "Su Muchin, Sha Yan is outside looking for you." I looked up and glanced out the door, meeting Sha Yan's exhausted gaze. She stood at the doorway, looking like she absolutely wouldn't leave unless I came out. Left with no choice, I walked out and asked her what was going on. Sha Yan stared at me for a long time before finally saying, her voice totally hoarse, "Muchin, I am so sorry. I managed to recover the chat logs, and I saw the security footage. I was wrong to misunderstand you before." I was a little stunned. I really didn't expect her to be looking for me over this. The usually arrogant and totally insufferable Sha Yan was now looking down, whispering softly, "I already broke up with him. And I made him transfer schools. Please, don't be mad at me anymore, okay?" At the exact same time, live comments completely flooded the screen. What the hell is happening to the plot? Why did the male and female leads break up? Haha, I've had enough of them for a long time anyway. Those two are just pure psychos. Seriously, what did the poor supporting guy even do wrong? I've been sick of the main couple for ages. If it weren't for watching our supporting boy eating so happily, I would have dropped this show a long time ago. Wait, so what's the female lead's deal now? Why do I get the feeling she's actually falling for the supporting guy? I stopped looking at the comments, and just let out a heavy sigh. Sha Yan, I honestly don't care about any of this anymore. Back then, when I followed you around, begging you to just eat a little more, it was literally just so I could earn an extra 1,000 bucks. But I've already quit. Whatever happens to you has absolutely nothing to do with me anymore. Sha Yan looked up, staring right through me. It was really just for the money? Only for the money? To be honest, at the very beginning, I really did want to build a good relationship with her. After all, without her, I probably wouldn't have even been able to scrape together half of my grandpa's surgery fees. So, I just put up with her terrible temper and all the hell she put me through. But time after time, all the constant misunderstandings and false accusations, it really made me start to doubt myself. I wondered if I was even cut out for that job, and eventually, I just got so tired of it all. Sha Yan's eyes turned red, but she refused to give up and kept pressing me. Then why did you still run all the way to the north side of town late at night, just to buy me those peach blossom pastries? I admitted honestly, I did it for the money, too. Good thing you took a bite in the end, otherwise my efforts would have been totally wasted. After that, breakfast, snacks, or fruit would magically appear in my desk drawer. Over time, rumors started spreading among my classmates that the youngest miss of the Shaw family was chasing me. Several months later, college entrance exams wrapped up smoothly. On the day the scores came out, I was still having breakfast with Sha Qingwan when I saw my score was more than enough for my dream college. I instantly hugged her in sheer excitement. Sha Qingwan, I got in. Sha Qingwan held my waist protectively, her eyes curving into a smile as she praised me softly. Our Su Muchin is so amazing. By the time I calmed down from the shock, I realized our posture was a bit too intimate. She had practically pulled my entire body into her arms. Her clear, cool voice brushed against my ear, making my ears burn bright red. After the scores were released, I received a massive scholarship from the school, and the day finally came for my grandpa's official surgery. Even though we had the best doctors and top-notch medical equipment, I still couldn't help but worry. Sha Qingwan pushed back all her work to sit quietly with me outside the operating room. I held tightly onto her hand, my palms completely sweaty. I don't know how much time passed before the doctor finally came out, smiling as he told us the surgery was a huge success. After staying in the hospital for observation for a little while, once he recovers without any issues, he can be discharged. I finally let out a massive sigh of relief. That evening, Sha Qingwan went to handle some work and told her assistant to bring me dinner. When there was a knock on the door, I figured it was the assistant. I hurried over to open it, but to my surprise, it was Sha Yan. She was carrying some really expensive gifts, with a perfectly formal excuse. I came to see Grandpa. I hope he has a speedy recovery. I had no choice but to let her in. Seeing that I wasn't saying much, Sha Yan couldn't help but force some small talk with me. After a while, I walked her out. She stopped right in front of me, a flash of nervousness in her eyes. Su Muchin, I have something to tell you. I looked at her, having a feeling of what was coming. Then I heard Sha Yan say, I like you. Can you give me a chance to pursue you? Even though I saw it coming, hearing her actually say it out loud still made me freeze up in shock. But before I could even answer, an arm wrapped securely around my shoulder, and a cold, detached voice instantly rang out. Get in line. I turned my head to see Sha Qingwan, who was supposed to be working. Right now, she was holding a food container in one hand while using the other to pull me and Sha Yan apart. Sha Yan practically gritted her teeth as she said, Sister, I clearly met him first. Why on earth do you get to cut in front of me? Hearing this, Sha Qingwan raised her eyebrows slightly, and said in a perfectly calm tone, probably because I've never had an ex-boyfriend. Grandpa recovered incredibly well and was discharged not long after. A little while later, he said he wanted to invite Sha Qingwan over to our place for dinner. Grandpa's cooking is absolutely amazing, even though we live out in the countryside. the ingredients are incredibly fresh. In the morning, the chicken was still pecking at cabbage leaves in the yard. And by noon, both the chicken and the cabbage were stewed into congee. Fresh coconut simmered right along with the chicken, making the meat super tender and the broth perfectly sweet and refreshing. The pork ribs I bought at the morning market. I cooked them into sweet and sour ribs in the big iron wok for lunch. I also slow-cooked some seafood claypot porridge. The shrimp and crabs were all caught fresh from the little river by the village. I was originally worried Sha Qingwan wouldn't get used to the countryside, but to my surprise, she fit right in. She even did me the honor of eating quite a bit. After we finished eating, Grandpa pulled me into a corner and whispered, "So, when did you two get together?" I scratched my head, the tips of my ears burning red. "We haven't yet." Grandpa was absolutely shocked. "I've seen a lot of people in my time. That girl is definitely into you. No matter what happens, Grandpa's got your back." And so, right before the school semester started, Sha Qingwan and I officially became a couple. While I was busy packing my bags, getting ready to embrace college life, I ran into Sha Yan, whom I hadn't seen in ages. She seemed to have lost a lot of weight. She just looked at me quietly for a long time, then suddenly asked, "Su Muchin, if I had seen that video earlier, would we still have ended up like this?" I looked at her, feeling a brief moment of daze. For some inexplicable reason, my mind drifted back to the night we first met. A warm, dim light was shining over the dining table as we sat there together. Despite her anorexia, she actually finished the whole bowl of noodles one made. Back then, I remember thinking, Sha Yan is actually pretty easy to please, isn't she? But then, later on, if only she had bothered to find out the truth immediately when Zhang Che had that allergic reaction. If only she hadn't left me standing all alone on the street in the dead of night, just to vent her anger for Zhang Che. If only that cream cake hadn't been smashed right into my face. I looked her dead in the eye, and said, emphasizing every single word, "Sha Yan, there are no ifs." Later on, Sha Yan went abroad to study. She had a professional medical team helping to treat her eating disorder. Auntie Wang secretly told me that Sha Qingwan had arranged all of this. I was a little surprised. Sha Qingwan sent her abroad? But before I could say another word, Sha Qingwan suddenly popped up right behind me.